Speech number 3, Stefan Winslow, English 200. Energy pursuit in Alaska. How important is energy independence in the United States? Currently, we are dependent on 80% of our fossil fuels from foreign countries. This becomes a problem if those ties are ever cut like they were in the 1970s and our economic infrastructure comes to a standstill. We have currently been gathering oil from Texas for many years, and then later Alaska has been discovered to have vast oil reserves. Oil was first discovered in 1968 in Alaska, and they later installed the Trans-Alaskan Pipeline that was completed in 1977. So, again, I ask, why choose Alaska for oil independence? Because the infrastructure is already there, the oil reserves are there, they're proven, and the quantity of the oil reserves is nearly trillions of barrels of oil reserves. Why should we do this to Alaska? The big topic of wildlife drilling comes up about the environmental damage to wildlife as well as destroying the tundra that's irreversible. With advances in new technology in the past 20 years, drilling sites, which were set up in 1968, were the size of 80 acres that needed to be gravelled and flattened for a nice working environment. They are now in their 4th generation of drilling rig styles, and they are down to less than 8 acres for a full-blown living drill site, which is quite phenomenal. These new pads are no longer permanent. They are completely made of ice, so they drill all winter. When it's cold, they get almost 8 to 9 months out of each season, and they drill on these flat ice pads, which can stay much more level due to the gravity than they can get gravel sometimes with the heaving of the frost. And they also use ice roads and airlifting now to get things in and out. It's much more easier and less environmentally impacting. Also, the accuracy of the rigs has improved greatly. They can now drill pinpoint within 10 feet in the mile, so that's quite phenomenal where they can put the drilling head. Also, they've started with horizontal drilling, so you already have a drilling pad set up and everything, and they drill sideways for miles on end. That way, you don't need to disturb other places in the wildlife, which is quite remarkable if you think about it, because they're going in one spot, and they can go 5 miles in a different direction wherever they'd like to be to hit the oil reserve. It just really saves the environment quite a bit. And lastly, they can make turns if they need to. The latest technology has a 55-degree turn in 100 feet, a 100-degree turn in less than 200 feet, and they can do almost a full turn up to 270 degrees. So there's plenty of capabilities with this new horizontal drilling that they have become capable of. Also, the economical impact of what this does is it lowers not only our dependency but the costs, because we are now producing our own oils and refining them in country, so we are keeping most of the profits and economics here in America and keeping people employed in America, no longer shipping jobs to other countries. Also, it helps us know where everything is. Many wells that have been drilled and discovered of oil are too far from the pipeline currently to be tapped into. But we know where the wells are, we know where the oil is, we have it ready to go if we ever do have a crisis, which is very, very important, because we are so dependent on petroleum products that if our foreign oil was cut off, we would just come to a standstill if we didn't have our own personal reserves, which Now in Alaska, we know where the wells are, we know the oil's ready to go, it just needs to be tapped into. So it's there in defense, and it's a backup plan. Also, as far as conservation goes, from all of the money made each year from oil, money is set aside in a fund for wildlife preserves and maintaining them and their integrity. And that's why I feel energy pursuit of oil in Alaska is vital to this country, because without it, we could end up suffering and just destroying the entire country. Thank you.